Water is life, okay? Drink plenty of water. Many have lived without love, no one without water. So generally a healthy human is encouraged to drink water, right? All the time. They've been shoving it down our throats our whole lives. Well, a few weeks ago, a friend sent me an article about a baby that nearly died after being given water. What? Apparently this newborn was about 8 weeks old, and Great Gam Gam went ahead and gave him about 3 ounces of water, which is like, I don't know, less than half a cup, like 6 tablespoons, right? He was inconsolable, had a fever, they took him to the ER. He was said to have had 3 seizures and his kidney function dropped to about 25%. Fortunately, the little trooper survived, but I thought, man, I gotta talk about this. I mean, it's totally counterintuitive, even to a lot of healthcare professionals, unless you really think about it, so let's do that real quick. When we drink water, it's handled by a certain system in our body.
So it kind of goes to the urine system, actually.
Also known as the renal system, and it's responsible for a lot of things, okay? So when babies are given excess water, their itty-bitty kidneys aren't able to process it quite fast enough. And the fluid stays in the blood waiting for the kidneys to process it. So what happens is there's too much fluid in the blood, and the concentration of electrolytes drops substantially. This can be very dangerous. We're particularly concerned with low sodium. So what's the problem with having too low sodium levels in the blood? Dizziness, confusion, lethargy, seizures, coma, death. Now you may say, Steph, we're always mixing water with formula. Breast milk's like 80% water, what gives? That liquid gold and its substitute have the electrolytes needed to maintain that balance in your body. Therefore, it's widely recommended that babies under the age of 3 months aren't given any water by itself. And at the age of 6 months, small sips can be introduced with meals and at a maximum of about 2 ounces. 4 tablespoons, not a whole lot. But even then, it's not necessary. So why would anyone knowingly give their baby water? For one, they didn't know, and honestly, I can't blame them. The health literacy in this country and in the world, in fact, is terrible. It's why I volunteer and actually spend money to do what I do, and why you should share what I share, because we're all responsible for helping each other out. That's the beauty of life, and we should love our lives and our fellow peeps, right? Now, the second reason is I've heard parents say that they've saved buku bucks diluting their breast milk or their formula by watering it down a little. That is not the way to be frugal, okay? Switch to Geico or something. You're putting your baby not only at risks for electrolytes imbalance, which we've talked about can lead to seizures, coma, and death. At the very least, you're risking that they're malnourished, and that can lead to developmental and growth problems. Do you want that for your baby? No, right? It's just not worth the risk. You know, use that elixir of the gods, as I like to call it, or use formula, but mix it per the instructions, okay? Otherwise, I'm pulling your mixology card. No longer serving. Actually, I'm gonna call it Nurse Kiki. She's a pediatric ER nurse for a long time. We did a carpool consult. If you didn't see it, we talked all about the little PD people. It's brilliant, it's fantastic. Lots of great information. See if she's available to talk about this, because I'm sure she's seen it.
Hello?
Kiki, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Nice to hear your voice. In the time you spent working as an ER nurse in the pediatric emergency department, how often did you see babies come in that had excessive water intake or water intoxication?
Parents doing it or kids accidentally getting into water happens frequently enough where we're familiar with how to treat it and we know how to look at the symptoms and diagnose. If I took care of patients in a week-long period, I'd say maybe a handful of times.
Wow, okay. What do you usually see it as the causes? So you said could be accidental ingestion. Do you see a lot of parents that bring them in that just didn't realize they weren't supposed to give them water?
Yes, I do see that, not giving kids, water or free water in their bottles until they're greater than 6 months. And really, kids should be having something with calories or electrolytes until babies' kidneys aren't as efficient. So
Yes.
they just don't have the means of processing the extra fluids and keeping their sodium balance in check. For parents, the most important thing to know is, one, don't give your kids just tap water or filtered water. They should be having breast milk, formula, or Pedialyte under doctor recommendations.
Yeah.
And it is something that you can die from if you don't treat it.
So as far as concerns parents might have, is there something that you see a lot?
Over-the-counter medications, when your kid's not doing well, you want to fix it. And I think just culturally, as Americans, we've grown accustomed to there's a pill for that. I think the biggest serious thing for parents to be just really leery and aware of is, yes, there are over-the-counter prescriptions that are readily available to anybody, right? But those should never be given to a kid without talking to your nurse practitioner or doctor first. Ibuprofen should never be given to a 6-monther or less, or any other nephrotoxic drugs that would be filtered out by your kidneys. Specifically, babies under 6 months are not the same as, a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old kid.
Definitely.
So check with your doc.
Well, wonderful. Thanks so much. I'm glad you were there picking up. I got way more than I thought I would from you.
Really glad that you called on me. That's an honor and a privilege.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, what might be the most important part of all of this that really pushed me to talk about this, and it was just last week. There was a mom that that shared that her baby was taken to the emergency department and treated for water intoxication. Something about taking gulps of water in the bathtub or something like that. Now, she apparently understood that water for babies wasn't in their best interest. But nonetheless, who knows how much a baby's getting in their mouth, splashing around, messing around the bathtub, right? Remember that 3 small ounces led to 3 seizures in that other baby I was talking about. Now, I wanted to talk to that mom and help her share her story on something like this. Now, she unfortunately had to decline because of the negative attention and the hate messages she said were sent to her that was just too much for her and her husband. Now, let me be clear, I don't know this woman, but I do know this. I'm hard pressed to find a parent that brings their child into the ER with a serious condition that's not already beating themselves up on the inside. Probably as bad as the human brain can. Now, she did not want this to happen, I can guarantee you that. And the bravery and courage it took for her to step into a public domain and share her experience, probably carrying enough guilt on her own as is, still finding it in herself to help others. For her to be berated or hated by people for what was clearly an accident or a mistake, instead of being supported for being of public service by making announcements saying, hey, I love my baby, this happened to me, I'm sharing this in hopes that it doesn't happen to you. She did the right thing so many people are scared to do. It was sad, unfortunate, and hard for a lot of people to read, I get that. But the right thing for us to do is what we can, in order for it to maybe not happen to someone else. She shared something that might wind up saving a lot of lives. I shared that something. And you can too, by putting that little share button to use, okay, for the greater good. Just don't stop sharing office memes, I love those.